call the Planning Commission to order. Our first item of business is to hold a public hearing. The public hearing is to consider a zoning district map change from A3 Residential General District to B1 General Business District for the property located at 390 Wheeler Street, tax map number 0173-18-05-001.000. Is there anyone here to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Betty Coakley. My address is 1148 Woodbine Drive, but I have property on Wheeler Street. What I really wanted to know is from residential to general district, is that apartments or those are houses that wanted to be built?
This is on Wheeler Street.
Yeah.
Ms. Williams, would you like to address that?
Sure. It's my understanding that the property that is on Wheeler Street is going to be a laydown yard. The applicant owns property that's adjacent to this property, and that property is already considered general business. The property that's in question is residential. They're wanting to change the zoning for the residential to make it general business because they want to use the property for commercial use.
Okay, but that raises taxes up in that area?
It may have an impact on taxes. I'm not quite sure. That's something that you would have to find out about through the city finance department. It may have an impact.
Well, I don't support it because I have had a lot of break-ins and vandalism at my property. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Brian Holliday, and I'm the new property owner of 780 Nottingham, which is the adjacent property to the one we're talking about. And yes, it would be for general business purposes, for running our commercial operation. And all we're interested in doing is having our business there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at the public hearing? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Thank you who spoke at the public hearing. We will now move into our second public hearing. Our second public hearing is to consider land development other than a subdivisions for properties located at 1509 Amelia Street, tax map number 0173-13-12-003.000 and 250 Summers Avenue, tax map number 0173-14-01-012.000. Is there anyone here to speak at this public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Frida Summers, 1105 Columbia Road. Mr. Chairman, I would just like details on what is being planned to be put there. I don't know if they're speaking to that, the layout of it. It is a historic district, so I don't know if the representative is here to tell us what he plans to do.
Ms. Williams, would you like to expand?
I think we have a representative
Okay.
here regarding that property who would like to speak
Okay.
to that.
All
I'd
right.
like to hear.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Cliff Wilson with the Hexagon Group. And what we will be
Could
building
you
is...
give your address for the record?
Oh, yes, 2800 Bush River Road, Columbia, South Carolina, 29210. And what we will be building is a multifamily property, 4 buildings, roughly 24 units. And that's pretty much it. Nothing special, anything like that. It's going to be 3 stories with 24 units, roughly 42,000 square feet.
Is it going to be student housing or other housing?
No, just multifamily housing.
Multifamily?
Yes. Any other questions?
Do I get a second?
Yeah, yes, please.
As I stated, this is in a historic district. Is that allowed in a historic district?
The applicant met all of the requirements, and all of the plans have been reviewed by our zoning official, so it is allowable.
Okay. One thing, I know I go that way to go to an office building and go up to the corner of Amelia and Summers and have a difficult time turning left to go there. I just don't know if this is a appropriate place for a 3-story apartment building in that area. So traffic is one of my concerns, and 3-story. And if it's, and the layout, I'd like to know the layout of it too. I just want it to go with the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at this public hearing? Anyone? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Michael Herger. I'm 1432 Moore Road in Orangeburg, but I have an office building on Center Street. And the concern I would have is the parking is so bad on Center Street now, it's difficult for people to come and go. There are problems with parking there, and I'm curious as to what the parking ratio is and how that is being addressed so there would be appropriate off-street parking, because that's a busy business center, it's a busy intersection. A lot of traffic there, and I don't know that Amelia Street or Summer Street can accommodate any more parking for a multifamily unit. So I have not seen the plans. I don't know if they're available for public view. I assume they could be, but would ask the commission to be sure to look at the appropriate ratios for parking so there would be off-street parking for the facilities being proposed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to address the parking concerns while?
One of the lots are going to be dedicated strictly for parking to accommodate the additional requirements for parking. So we've looked into that, and we addressed that concern to ensure that we meet the requirements for adequate parking for the facility, for the new building.
Every unit will have 2 spaces?
The requirement is 1.5 per door, so we meet that requirement.
Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? I want to thank everybody that participated. We will now close this public hearing and move into our third one. Our third item of business is a public hearing to consider zoning district map change from B1 General Business to B2 Central Business District for properties located at 812 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-07-002.000 and 776 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-08-001.000. Is there anyone here to speak at this public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Martin Roach. I live at 1371 Tolly Ganley Street. That's Orangeburg, South Carolina, 29118. I'm here today to talk to you about an exciting project in our town. I'm also here to ask for the rezoning of 812 and 776 Russell Street from Business 1 to Business 2 to make this project feasible. I'm from Orangeburg and care deeply about our town and its universities. I've been in the real estate business for over 23 years. Creating a student housing project in this area would be transformational. It would enliven this area of downtown, create commercial opportunity, and stimulate economic growth for both the town and its universities. The universities and our downtown are both in need of housing developments. I point to examples in Savannah, in Charleston, in Columbia, Rock Hill, and many other cities around America. If it's good enough for those towns, why is it not good enough for Orangeburg, a college town? I've got a great team of fantastic people, starting with my good friend, Mr. Richard Rouse from New York, representing his firm, LCP, which is on the development and finance side. LCP currently manages assets exceeding $1 billion. Mr. Chad Askew, our architect from Housing Studio out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We also have Mr. Rusty Porter from Orangeburg-based CF Evans, one of the finest multifamily building companies in the Southeast. Also with us is Mr. Howard Jackson, the Executive Director of the South Carolina State Real Estate Foundation. I'd like to invite Chad Askew up to go through the project for you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Chad Askew with Housing Studio, 333 West Trade Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. We, as Martin indicated, we're the architecture firm that he approached and asked to design and conceptualize the project for him. I just wanted to walk through these slides really quickly and give the group here tonight a flavor of what we're looking to do here. So as you can see, there's a rendering here that shows, this is along Russell Street with Elmwood sort of running back into the center of the screen there. And we are looking at, in addition to the student apartments, the student housing that's happening in this project, retail space along Russell Street in both of these buildings so that we'll be able to activate that streetscape, sort of enhance the downtown area. I'm going to skip a couple of these. And so as you can see here, this is larger context. A piece of this is a separate parcel at the back of the site that Martin is working potentially to acquire for the parking for the project. And then our two buildings, as you can see, are at the front of the site along Russell Street there. The pink areas, those are the retail areas, and then the residential, the apartment units for the students are behind that. There's also amenity space for those students. And then if you look at, you can see on this color sketch rendering, both of these projects have courtyards that are kind of tucked away and more private space, outdoor space for the students to use recreationally. They're passive spaces. They're not volleyball courts and swimming pools and those sorts of things. They're more quiet, calm spaces, but natural space for the students to be able to use. And then nothing really to go into here, but these are just typical sort of layouts of the unit plans. So we've done a fair amount of due diligence on this already to help Martin envision this project. You can see these are the elevations along the frontage of Russell Street, and at the top, that's Elmwood Street. That's a longer elevation of that building because it's such a linear site. But what you can't see here is that center section actually steps back 5 or 6 feet so that there's actually a break in the facade. It's not a continuous wall all the way down. It kind of moves in and out so that there's interest and character as you move down the streetscape. So that's a very quick summary of the project design. Our feeling is that it's a great opportunity to bring much-needed student housing and help enliven downtown. So I think I've been buzzed out, so.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Joyce Rainey. I live at 279 Livingston Terrace. And the picture with the green on it, I could tell more about it. Are we speaking of something down near the gardens again?
We're on the other side of the road from the pecan plant, on the other side of the road, where Duncan's Supply used to be back in the day.
And is this 4 or 5 story? Are these buildings 4 or 5 stories?
They're 4 stories.
And you speaking of student housing, I think? Yes. The one thing that draws people to our city right now, I think, are the gardens, and they have been exquisite. But I think this, again, is something that's going to crowd that area and would take away from the gardens. I think maybe something short if you wanted little stores or things like this, but to build something this big and fill it with student housing, and you've got to think of, you imagine, I know where the colleges are, but I think it's a long way for college, and especially if they are walking students and things like this. Can't be somewhere closer. I just don't understand why they want to keep concentrating on the garden area. And I just don't think it's something that we want in Orangeburg. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing?
Michael Herger, 1432 Moore Road here in Orangeburg. My only comment or thought is, and I saw the plans, and it seems to be some parking spaces and so forth, but when you mention other projects in Charleston, I know in Beaufort, for example, you even go to Charlotte, that you'll see that the historical 1.5 parking places per door is grossly inadequate. You can't find a parking place in downtown Charleston. You can't find one now in Beaufort. And so I think that it's something that the Planning Commission needs to look at, that if there is parking, that it be adequate for the future. And I think, and if the zoning regulations are 1.5 per door, I don't know what that means. Does that mean per bedroom? You got a 3-bedroom apartment, but only 1.5 parking places? That's the recipe for disaster, which has occurred in other cities, Charlotte, Charleston, Beaufort, and other places, because there's inadequate off-street parking. I'm happy to see the possibility of some development and growth in Orangeburg. I just think it needs to be done in a way that addresses the possibilities for the future and adequate for the needs of the people that will be tenants in those projects.
Thank you. Please come back up. Would you like to address his parking situation?
Yes, if you could pull the slides back up. We're actually currently trying to acquire 1.75 acres behind, which would allow 134 parking spaces, which is more than is required or that we need for the, I think, 1.5 per door. In fact, this project would be a non-starter for any of the universities if we did not have parking, just because parents, and by the way, this is for juniors, seniors, and graduate students. The college would likely not allow freshmen and sophomores to be this far away, and they will also have shuttle services. And many of these kids already have kids, so we've tried to be thoughtful about everything that we're doing. Ms. Rainey, so nice to see you. Yeah, so, we've thought a lot about this. I started buying and developing property on this end of town years ago, and the way that I felt was, why don't we have development close to the Edisto Gardens. If you go to any riverside or any city, or, you know, I've been to so many cities around our country, and whenever you have something that's so special, like the gardens or the longest Blackwater River in North America, that there's development around it. And I think it makes it more pleasant. Further, it enlivens the town, and in an area that is much needed. We started a restaurant there as kind of a test market, the garden, and people come, and as a result of that, people are saying, you know what, this area is pleasant, when before maybe they weren't so inclined to come to that area of town. And finally, I think that atmosphere would be very special for students. And having a development of this kind not only helps universities that are in need of housing, but also creates what is already a special place and some special architecture and buildings in that area that I think would enhance it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing?
If I could speak, I wanted to address, the question I have is parking, and when I hear juniors and seniors and graduate students, and those are the ones that are all likely going to have cars, okay? So are we talking about 1.5 cars per door? Is that per unit? Or is that per bedroom unit, per sleeping unit? And as I say, I'm glad to hear that they're addressing 134 parking places, and I see the diagram that shows the parking lot that's across the road from it. But I'm not sure that that really addresses the question of the accommodation of the number of vehicles that would be, they say it's more than 1.5, but I think 1.5 is totally inadequate. But, you know, hasn't been studied or reviewed to see what, with graduate students, juniors and seniors in college who are going to be drivers with vehicles, how many parking places would be adequate for the size of the unit and the number of sleeping spaces and occupants that would be there? And that would be a question I would have for the developers.
Would you like to address that? Please come back.
So we have, I think that what we've done is done some studies with existing multifamily or student housing units, and it wouldn't be that many. You know, we have 77 units, 134, so that's almost 2 parking spaces per door. We don't anticipate, just looking at the demographic of a South Carolina State University student, it's not nearly that high in terms of the amount of students that have cars. Yes, they do, but not all of them, which is why we're taking into consideration, and the college is also taking into consideration having shuttles. So, and by the way, under the B2 zoning requirement, we are not required to have parking. But we are still doing that and want to do that on behalf of our students that'll be there. Thank you.
Anyone else to speak, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Gerald Smalls. I'm representing South Carolina State University. That's my address. We are so excited about corporations, corporate developers coming to Orangeburg to support our growth. Right now, we have 15,000 applicants for our freshman class. We only have 1,000 beds available. As you can see, there's a renaissance occurring with South Carolina State University. We're excited about it. We testified before the House and the Senate 2 months ago. One of the major issues was housing. Is Orangeburg able to accommodate the growth that you have? They also asked us, are the developers coming to Orangeburg? And we said, yes, they're coming. So they gave us, over the last 3 years, close to $300 million for capital development. Right now, in the Senate's proposed budget is a brand-new SHM. Brand new. That's not only for South Carolina State University, but as you know, that's for the city and for the county of Orangeburg. They did this because of the growth that we have, the excitement that we have. Right now, currently, underneath the leadership of our foundation, we have 7 properties throughout Orangeburg, outside of the gates of South Carolina State, 7 properties. We provide security for those properties. We provide a 30-minute shuttle going from each one of those properties back to South Carolina State all day long. We are investing a multitude of capital to make sure these students have services. As of right now, I know you're talking about parking. I can't answer all those questions. But we have 1 car to every 4 students right now. So all of our students don't have cars. But we do require some parking for those that do, that want to live off campus. But we accommodate all through our shuttle when they don't want to drive, or those that do not have available cars to drive. We're very excited. We're going to put seniors, juniors, and graduates on our properties outside of the main, what I call the peninsula of South Carolina State. We keep freshmen on campus, and we provide them with security and a bus line and travel. So we're very, very excited. Very excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing?
Howard Jackson, representing South Carolina State University Real Estate Foundation. Dr. Smalls took most of my thunder just now, but as he said, we are currently managing 7 off-campus properties across from the Dario. No parking issues, you know, it's about 80 beds there. The old hotel behind Applebee's, that's under the purview of us as well. We don't have any issues over there as well. We're currently engaging, including this development, 3 other private developers for housing for the university. The president's goal is 5,000 students. We have to have some place to house them. Not only some place to house them, we need adequate housing, places that you or I would leave our kids. So that's why we need new student housing to be attractive to Orangeburg, and we're very excited to partner with this group, as we are the other 3, to ensure that they can bring adequate student housing to Orangeburg. So the Real Estate Foundation is very much in support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Wilson, 12 Finchwood Drive, Columbia, 29229. I just came up to say how I was a student at South Carolina State. 1997, I came here. And I'm just excited. We had I came from Brooklyn, New York, and we had a Wendy's and a McDonald's to go to when I was a student here. I'm excited about the expansion and what all of these different groups that are here are trying to do for the students and the community. And I just had to come up here and just say that I'm just excited about what's happening here.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing?
I just want to come back up and say I'm excited about the developments and the things coming to Orangeburg too, and I thank the developer for the explanation about the parking. I was concerned about a bare minimum, but it sounds like they are considering more than that and making those accommodations. And I thank them for that, and I think that's something that's important because Orangeburg deserves more than the bare minimum. We need good development, and it looks like we've got people that are coming and trying to accomplish that, and I thank them for that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? I would like to thank everybody who participated in the public hearing. We will now close the public hearing and move into our regular meeting. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes of February 27th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, the ayes have it. Under new business, to consider zoning map change from A3 Residential General District to B1 General Business District for property located at 390 Wheeler Street, tax map number 0173-18-05-001.000. Ms. Williams, would you like to address the commission concerning this?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, the applicant complied with all the stipulations and all of the requirements were met.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Williams? Yeah.
I have a question for the guy that came up and spoke. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. You said that you were going to put businesses there. You weren't explicit. What type of business? Can you share that?
Yes, ma'am. We own an event rental business, and we want a hub out of Orangeburg because we can get to all different parts of the state with our event rentals. And we have the warehouse space that's a part of this parcel, and we need to be able to park our equipment. So that's the purpose of wanting to rezone it and create jobs and hire people here in Orangeburg to work with us.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny the request.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Raise your hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. Our second item is to consider a land development other than a subdivision for properties located at 1509 Amelia Street, tax map number 0173-13-12-003.000, and 250 Summers Avenue, tax map number 0173-14-01-012.000. Ms. Williams, would you like to address the commission concerning this?
Mr. Chairman, the applicant complied with all requirements for this application.
Any questions for Ms. Williams? I'll entertain a motion to either approve or deny the request.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, the ayes have it. Our third item is to consider a zoning district map change from B1 General Business District to B2 Central Business District for properties located at 812 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-07-002.000 and 776 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-08-001.000. Ms. Williams, would you like to address the commission concerning this request?
Again, the applicant complied with all stipulations and all of the requirements were met.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Williams? I'll entertain a motion to either approve or deny the request.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, the ayes have it. Is there any other business to come before this commission? Seeing none, I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, meeting adjourned.